Well, Blake Lively. Clearly the gods favored her. She's got the money, the looks, the man, the fame, the family. And our girl Blake was the girl of the moment for a hot little minute. But it seems the world is catching on to what a lot of us have felt for a long time. She just kinda sucks. Who can forget the clip of her sitting with Emily Blunt, another mean girl, but we'll save that for another video, and ignoring Zendaya and laughing as it looks like a model trips on the catwalk? Absolute Celebrities forget their fame and power ultimately comes from being adored by a fan base who will see your movies and buy your But Little Miss Perfect was on a golden run for so long she forgot that ultimately, us peasants still put merit in actually being at least a somewhat decent human being. Yes, Blake, we get it. You're married to a billionaire, and who really cares what the masses think, right? Well, turns out, you do. As the adoring fans are starting to turn, and the girl with the golden touch is starting to feel the sting of regret. So unless you've had your head in the sand, you will have seen all the controversy surrounding Blake and the It Ends With Us movie saga. And let's be honest, we were all freaking pumped for this movie release. But alas, Mean Girl Blake supposedly strikes again. Sadly for Blake, the accusations were many, as Blake's mean girl behavior offended many of her co-stars and directors. The film, based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, is a dramatic story unpacking the toxic relationship that Blake's character is in, bringing light to domestic violence and the horrors for those that live it. Furthermore, Justin Baldoni, the film's director, was passionate about the project from the start. His love for this book was seen when he even personally reached out to Hoover, promising to treat her story with the respect it deserved. Hoover, impressed by his sincerity, trusted Baldoni completely. I already cringe knowing how Blake treats this movie in her press tour. OMG, but we'll get to that in a minute. The moment Lively was cast as the lead character, things sadly hit Schitt's Creek. At first, Baldoni expressed his excitement, even calling her a perfect match for the role because, from the outside, it looked like a match made in heaven. But like with all nasty girl relationships, cracks started to appear. Reportedly, the rumor mill went into overdrive stating that Lively's vision for the film clashed with Baldoni's because Blake wanted to direct the film from a girl's perspective. But true to form with these types of women, it became more apparent that these weren't just minor disagreements, and in fact, Miss Bossy Pants Blake wanted to control the directing of the film and ultimate editing. Then the press tour started. Oh man, we can hardly take it. During press events, it was obvious Blake missed the memo on what the movie was actually about. Instead of addressing the movie's message about domestic violence for crying out loud, she constantly shifted the focus to her personal life, especially her marriage to Ryan Reynolds. She would casually talk about her hair care brand, or the Deadpool movie franchise, or a bunch of other crap, leaving the film's heavier themes on the floor. Read the room, lady. This is the thing about us peasants. We can tell when these celebs are just on one big self-promotional tour. Blake's indifference to promoting the movie and her repeated attempts to shift attention elsewhere didn't sit well with any of us, especially those who had hoped to discuss the sensitive subject matter the film touched on. Ah, that was all of us, right? The elephant in the room isn't even being mentioned. It seemed like Lively cared more about her brand than the project at hand, and her behavior was causing a rift between her and Baldoni, and rightly so. By the time the press tour was in full swing, Baldoni was noticeably absent from many events, leading fans and the media to speculate about what was happening behind the scenes. Reports continued to circulate that Lively had overstepped her boundaries on set. Some reports claimed that she even pushed for her own movie cut, leaving people questioning why the director wasn't in full control, with it later being revealed that Reynolds, Blake's husband, had rewritten parts of the script without consulting the director or the screenwriter. What the actual F? For Baldoni and Hoover, this wasn't just a movie, but a passion project and an opportunity to get a much-needed conversation going. Sadly, Lively just didn't seem to feel the same. This fallout was swift. Baldoni's feelings were sidelined. Hence, to sort out the problem, he hired a crisis PR team to manage the situation. But the damage and the shooting of those scenes had already been done. Lively was never seen remorseful for this, and even made light of the situation in interviews, seemingly unaware or unconcerned of the growing tension. And that's when the fallout began to snowball. The press and fans began digging into Lively's past, resurfacing old interviews where her less than flattering side was put on full display. As the press tour was in full swing, a journalist who had previously interviewed Blake several times shared a clip of an interview showing Blake acting incredibly rude. The nightmare interview was so bad, the journalist said it was the interview that made her want to quit her job. As the interview circulated, the comments on Blake's Instagram profile blew up with fans calling for blood, commenting and demanding answers on her poor behavior, and lack of awareness around the film's topics. The comments were so fierce and just so freaking many that Blake ended up turning off her comments on her account. Ouch, but the moments just kept coming. Another resurfaced interview from her Gossip Girl days showed Lively referring to her co-stars as monkeys, a comment that was condemned back then, but as new fans were seeing it for the first time, still shocked many. As much as we try to put these incidents down to bad days, and we've all been there, they just don't seem to be isolated events or one-off incidents, but more likely a pattern of behavior that is now coming to light. Even Anna Kendrick, who had worked with Lively in the past, seemed to have had her fair share of uncomfortable moments with the actress. Despite all the negative press, a few people stood by Blake. Brandon Sklenar, one of her co-stars in It Ends With Us, defended her mean behavior, emphasizing the importance of the film's message and criticizing the attacks on Lively. Her brother-in-law, Bart Johnson, also spoke out, insisting that the real story hadn't come to light yet and that Lively had poured her heart into the project. However, their voices were drowned out by the overwhelming criticism. We have to admit it got so much. We even started to feel bad for her. But deserving or not, the label difficult to work with was one supposedly getting thrown around about Lively, and in Hollywood, that is one of the worst reputations an actor can have. Directors and producers were reportedly hesitant to work with her and unsure if they could trust her on future projects. While she still has a few movies lined up, her future in the industry feels uncertain. The once glamorous star, who is more known for her unique style and high-profile roles, now finds herself in a precarious position. But the question hangs in the air: will the audiences forget the drama surrounding It Ends With Us? Will one big blockbuster make it all go away? Or will this scandal haunt her forever, overshadowing any future success? Well, for Baldoni at least, he is making his feelings known, with both Baldoni and Lively unfollowing each other on social media. You have to admit that it's hilarious that the pettiness of the social media unfollow is even a play card for the rich and famous. But good for him. Who needs toxic friends? Ain't nobody got time for that. But despite all the behind-the-scenes drama, It Ends With Us was a box office hit, pulling in over $242 million globally. Come on, admit it. It was pretty good. But with tensions running high, the sequel, It Starts With Us, is now in danger. Moreover, Baldoni's production company still holds the rights to the project. But there's talk that despite the fallout, Lively might be recast. We have to admit, we'd be kinda here for it. Well, as much as we kind of think Lively does in fact suck, we do think that if any of our lives had a spotlight put on them, we'd all have our mean girl moments. Hopefully this is a self-reflection situation with Lively able to come out the other side just a little bit nicer. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think about the movie and Blake's behavior. Misunderstood or ultimate mean girl?